it really does feel like AEW is back. And what I mean by that is I think they're kind of back to being and back to that identity they had when they were at their peak in 2021, which is just the best wrestling show in the world. And I think this pay-per-view makes that like undeniable in my opinion, because they're coming off of like some of the worst months they've had, or the worst calendar year they had in company history. Like, not just as far as the television product took a nosedive because of a lot of it was because of the ROH stuff and trying to integrate that with TV and it just not working. But on top of that, you had all the backstage stuff. Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo, Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston, the whole Elite versus CM Punk thing. Like, all that stuff was weighing so heavily on this company, and it just felt like they couldn't get back to what they did best, which was just give badass wrestling, tell badass storylines, and just be the best wrestling company on the planet. Not the biggest, but the best. And I think they got back to that tonight, because I saw storytelling tonight. I saw them deliver great match after great match after great match. Two of the best matches in AEW history. Possibly the best Iron Man match of all time. And I know that might be recency bias, but it was great. They made a guy in MJF who had already been made in a sense, but they somehow managed to find a way to make him even more by getting that submission win over Bryan. They were able to make another trios team, make those trios belts matter even more, because now and make House of Black matter more. You had a return, like it just feels like the energy, the energy, the momentum is somehow just swinging back in the direction of positivity for AEW after it being so bad for so long and so negative for so long. I just feel like the pendulum's kind of shifted back to where it was. And I'm not saying that they're going to be doing the same numbers, but I'm talking about as a product, as a TV product, as just the general vibe, I think, is just back to being what it was. And look, and I know a lot of people, some people might not want to hear it, some people might. CM Punk is coming up to about the time where you would think he's healthy from that torn tricep. If they find a way to make it work with the locker room and everything else, because Kenny Omega said, like, hey man, like, bygones, like, got to move past it. If they find a way to bring him back and add that fuel and it just like, they could put on some of the best TV a pro wrestling company has had in years. The way that this is all just shaping out. I mean, like, again, an all-time pay-per-view at a time where AEW really needed it. AEW All Out 2021, I think, still is the best wrestling pay-per-view since WrestleMania X7. But boy, did this give AEW pay-per-views a run for their money. In my opinion, this pay-per-view had almost everything you could desire from a big pay-per-view. Everything barring just a big return or debut. Outside of that, it delivered and then some. You had, in my opinion, 2 5-star caliber matches, as in 2 just nearly perfect matches. Other matches that were great, excellent in their own right, and not a bad match to be seen on the entire card. And even the worst match on this card, I'm looking at you, Samoa Joe and Wardlow, was like decent and still good and still productive at what they wanted to do. Great pay-per-view. 2 5-star matches on one card. I said going into this, and people were mad about it, oh, I'm more hyped about this. I said that I'm more hyped about this match or this card and this pay-per-view than I was WrestleMania. I feel so affirmed about it. Like that, like this, it's going to be hard for WrestleMania to be better than this pay-per-view. Either night, both nights combined, it's going to be hard. Um, yeah, this was fan freaking tastic, people. Just absolute, like, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. This is exactly what I want for my pro wrestling. Like, if you ask me, like, book a pro wrestling, this is it. And I'm happy with it. I loved it. And it honestly, like, there is not much more I could have asked for other than just better commentary. But next